It's been nearly 4 months since Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt were arrested, and lately we haven't really been hearing much. There's been no new court dates, we hardly got any updates on the status of the case, it's been silent. That all changed this week when Ruby Franke finally broke her silence through her attorney and addressed everything. She addressed her relationship with Jodi, her thoughts on Kevin filing for divorce, and even the details about a possible plea deal. It's a mess, so let's get into it. The last time we talked about Ruby Franke was when her now ex-husband Kevin officially filed for divorce. Kevin has been fighting for custody for months now, and a lot of people felt like this divorce filing was a way to show the courts he doesn't agree with Ruby's actions and wanted no part in that relationship. As for Ruby, we didn't hear much about her or from her for a good amount of time. Any court hearing she's had was quick, and the family court was being kept private. We're quickly approaching the 4-month mark of both Ruby and Jodi being behind bars, and many people were anticipating a bail hearing or something any day now, and that's exactly what happened. Ruby will be heading into court on Monday, and it sounds like she may be entering into a plea deal. Her attorney released a long detailed statement on behalf of Ruby addressing everything that's been going on and shifting the blame onto Jodi. They started off by addressing the plea agreement Ruby is apparently entering into tomorrow, writing, "Windward Law is making a statement on behalf of Ruby Franke regarding the pending charges in the Washington County 5th District Court, along with her thoughts on her current family situation. Our client is working with the prosecutor's office and anticipates resolving this matter quickly by entering a plea agreement with the court on Monday, December 18th. And this has a lot of people nervous. We don't know what exactly this plea deal is going to be, but everyone is just hoping it's not something that pretty much lets her off easy. This statement then addresses Jodi Hildebrandt, and it sounds like Ruby is pretty much blaming everything on her, writing, "Ruby Franke is a devoted mother and is also a woman committed to constant improvement. Initially, Miss Franke believed that Jodi Hildebrandt had the insight to offer a path to continual improvement. Miss Hildebrandt took advantage of this quest and twisted it into something heinous. Over an extended period, Miss Hildebrandt systematically isolated Ruby Franke from her extended family, older children, and her husband Kevin Franke. This prolonged isolation resulted in Miss Franke being subjected to a disordered sense of morality, shaped by Miss Hildebrandt's influence." And I don't doubt that's true. We all watched as Ruby got deeper into connections and how it slowly started to isolate her from her family and sent her down this really strange path of so-called living in truth and thinking everyone who didn't follow their rules was living in distortion. We've heard stories from countless other people who've received coaching from Jodi who've all said that she's tried to isolate them and destroy their marriages. It's definitely a pattern, but this whole situation can't just be blamed on Jodi. This concerning behavior was going on long before Ruby ever even met Jodi.
To tell you this, honey, but unless you find a friend who's willing to share some of their food with you, I don't think you're going to be able to eat. But if you're not responsible for your lunch and your lunch money, that's the natural consequence. And I'm really sorry you're learning this the hard way.
There were petitions years ago to have Ruby investigated before Ruby even knew about connections. I really hope the judge sees through her excuses and takes into consideration the years worth of evidence prior to Ruby meeting Jodi. This statement then talks about the changes that Ruby has been making well behind bars, writing, "During Ruby Franke's incarceration in Washington County Jail over the past few months, she has actively engaged in an introspection that has allowed her to reset her moral compass and understand the full weight of her actions. Miss Franke is committed to taking responsibility for her part she played in the events leading up to her incarceration. Demonstrating a sincere dedication to personal growth and rehabilitation, she has actively begun the process by reaching out to members of her family. Through heartfelt apologies, she seeks to mend relationships and contribute positively to the healing journey of her family." Which is interesting to hear and makes me wonder what family members she was reaching out to. Something tells me none of her sisters who've spoken out about her would be in any kind of position to hear Ruby out yet or accept apologies from her after everything Ruby has put them through.
I spent the first week in complete shock where I felt my body and my mind and my emotions were completely paralyzed because of the just absolute shock of all of this. The more I learn, my feelings are turning more to anger. I am mad. I am mad at what has happened.
We all saw it. We all felt weird about this Jodi lady. We weren't comfortable with it. We didn't like it. We didn't like the teachings Ruby was bringing to the family functions, and we were this close to telling her, if you come to our family events anymore, we do not want to hear what you were learning through connections because we don't like it. Anyway, so 3 years ago, Ruby and I hung out bottling tomatoes, and then a few weeks later, crap hit the fan and she left the family. And she didn't even call me to say, hey, you know, Julie, you're doing this and this, and I don't like it. You're living your life in distortion, so I'm gonna have to take some time away from you. No, literally nothing.
The attorneys also addressed Kevin and his decision to file for divorce, writing, Ruby is aware that Kevin Franke has filed for divorce. While she is devastated by this news, she acknowledges and understands his anger and reasoning. Despite the pain, she respects his decision and remains hopeful that with time, she can contribute to rebuilding trust and fostering understanding within their family. Ruby has offered her full cooperation to help the children reunite with their father. But she was okay with him living away from her with no contact, having no communication with his own children. She's just devastated that she doesn't have a hold over everything behind bars, and as much as I'm not a fan of Kevin, I hope he truly had some kind of miracle breakthrough and sees right through this. The attorney summed everything up with some closing thoughts, writing, Windward Law recognizes the profound love that Miss Franke holds for her children, and we are genuinely saddened that she found herself on this challenging path under the influence of Miss Hildebrandt. It is our firm belief that Miss Franke is a devoted mother who, unfortunately, was led astray. She is sincere in her commitment to securing the best possible future for her family, and we remain hopeful that with the right support and understanding, she can navigate a path of healing and growth. And I know this is what Ruby and her attorneys have to say to try and save her, but I'm not buying it, and I really hope the judge sees right through it. People have been reacting to this statement, and it seems like everyone sees right through it as well, writing, she's trying to take the easy way out. She 100% is at fault for this. Those kids were her responsibility. 100% think she needed to be prosecuted to the full extent. Telling on Jodi isn't enough. As for Jodi, I'm pretty sure her next hearing isn't until December 27th, so we're gonna have to wait to find out what she thinks about what Ruby has to say. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about everything down below, and I'll see you next time.